Hey guys, so in this video I wanted to address a comment that Allison Rose had left. I'm still trying to get used to saying names of people because for a long time I never said names of people who commented, and sometimes people would get a little confused about whether I was addressing their comment or not. But so this comment was left on my video titled Assisted Living versus Luxury Nursing Homes. And Allison said, "What are your thoughts on working in the memory care sections of assisted living facilities? I find myself drawn to the challenge of working with residents with dementia, but I can't decide if I would rather take more residents in assisted living with less/easier work or fewer residents in memory care with harder work." Now, first of all, let me address the second part of that. Because the thing about assisted living facilities, when you say you can't decide if you'd rather take more residents in assisted living with less or easier work, that's not always the case. So I worked at an assisted living facility that was the front half was assisted living and the back half was memory care. So I think in total in our memory care section, we had 18 apartments. It wasn't a super huge facility, I will tell you that right off the bat. However, the responsibilities for a CNA in the assisted living section, they added on so many other responsibilities because it was easier. And the reason I say that easier like that is because it was not a true assisted living facility. We had people who needed sit-to-stand lifts and Hoyer lifts. So if that is what you're looking for, something that's a little bit easier, not so hard on your body and just work-wise, I would definitely say look into the facility, find out if it is a true assisted living facility. If you are interviewing for a job there, ask them if it's a true assisted living facility or if they have lifts and stuff like that. And no, I'm not just talking about hospice patients, because our assisted living also had hospice patients. On both assisted living and in the memory care section, we did have hospice patients. So it all is going to depend on the facility as far as that goes. However, like I was saying, it's not necessarily less work, because when I worked at that facility, I kind of floated back and forth. Sometimes I would work in memory care. Other times I would be in the assisted living section. It just kind of depended on where they needed me. I was kind of a Jill of all trades, we should say, because I worked in the kitchen. I worked doing CNA stuff. It just kind of depended on the day what I would be doing. However, the CNAs had a lot of additional responsibilities. For example, if you worked night shift in the assisted living, we had to clean everything. We had to clean the kitchen. We had to take the garbage out from the kitchen. We had to do nighttime laundry, which was basically laundry that nobody else had been able to get to throughout the whole day. We had to do the nighttime laundry. Like I said, we had to do deep cleaning of areas where there's normally residents during the daytime. So it was harder for cleaning staff to get to. We had to do deep cleaning. They expected us to vacuum at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I never did. We had these little push brooms where it would pick stuff up, and that's about all I would do, because I didn't want to turn the vacuum on and wake up people. Because to me, if that was me in this facility, and I was being woken up by a vacuum at 3 o'clock in the morning, I would be so livid. So again, it just kind of depends on the facility, but the facility that I worked at, they added on additional responsibilities. I should also say that not so much in the assisted living section, but the memory care section of the facility I worked at, we were also supposed to be their activity aides. The activities department never really came back to the memory care section. I'm not exactly sure why, but they hardly ever came back there. The most that the activities director, sorry, I was trying to think of the word there. The most I would really see her is when she would just stop by to drop stuff off for us to do. If they had a special occasion, sometimes they would have Italian days or whatever, where she would drop off little things to make pizzas with the residents. Or we'd have ice cream or pop or whatever with the residents. She would come back and drop it off, and then she'd go right back to the front. So you really never saw her, but they expected us to chart all of these different activities because they expected us to do like a certain number of hours of activities for each shift. So it all is going to depend on your facility. Like I said, I personally, myself, have the most experience in memory care, so I would probably choose memory care willingly, because I prefer to work in memory care, and that's only because memory care is the reason why I became a CNA in the first place, because my grandmother had Alzheimer's disease, and I felt like when I became a CNA, it was my chance to give back, because I wasn't able to help care for my grandmother. Because at the time that I became a CNA, my grandma was kind of in the end stages of dementia and Alzheimer's. And I was in Indiana. She was up here in Michigan, where I live now. So that, I mean, it's kind of a personal decision, but I also wouldn't necessarily say that assisted living is easier. In general, even if you don't have the added responsibilities like we did at the facility I worked at, only because there are so many people. Like, I think when I worked in assisted living, we had somewhere like 30 something patients, because there would be two of us and we would split the hallway, and it was a long hallway and each of us would have half. And it was definitely way more difficult than it should have been. Like, day shift had 4 aides to evening shifts 2 and night shifts 1. So it was very, very hectic. However, like I said, with assisted living, there's people that are out and about all day long, and you kind of have everybody pulling you in every different direction, and they all need assistance with something. Like, for example, there were days where I would be assisting a resident with something, and then I'd have another resident who was paging me because she wanted me to stand by while she was in the shower, even though it wasn't her shower day. And then while I was doing that, I would be getting paged by like the nurse to come help with something else. It's a lot. And yes, that can happen in any type of facility, not just assisted living. But if you're thinking that assisted living is going to be less work or easier, it's not always the case. So if you are going to go into the memory care section, I would definitely say be patient with them. Dementia residents are some of my favorite people. I've learned so much from working with people with dementia and Alzheimer's, and I feel like memory care is definitely not for everyone. So if you are going to get into the memory care setting, just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons, and make sure that you are patient with these people. So hopefully this helped you, to the person who asked. If you guys have any other comments or questions, please feel free to leave them on my videos. And I will probably address them in a future video. You just kind of have to give me time, because I am a little behind in my uploading. I am currently about a month behind with filmed content already. And part of that is because of the internet issue, and part of that is because I've kind of gotten into a little bit of a groove with, you know, every other week I'm doing like Monday through Friday posting one week, and then I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday the next week, just so then I don't have so much pressure on myself, especially during like class times. But anyways, if there's any topics you'd like me to address in a future video, please let me know that as well, and I will get something filmed for you. And with that being said, I will talk to you guys next time.